Alright, it's Josh, and tonight we are working on the cattle trailer. So this is a combination farm, Wooler equipment, and Fixin. We've got a S&S cattle trailer that I bought, oh boy, over 20 years ago on a consignment sale auction. I think I paid somewhere between $300 and $500 for this trailer. Since I've owned it, I put a new set of tires on it. They're still in pretty good condition. Rewired it while I was in tech school, and I replaced the floor once, and that is where we are again. It is time to replace the floor. It had some old oak 1x is what I had replaced it with last time, and kind of latticed it in here, which worked for a while. It was non-treated lumber and eventually rotted out. I have some leftover southern yellow pine non-treated wood here. I think I'm going to treat it with waste oil and hope that gives us a treatment to keep it from rotting out. But why I'm here at the shop is, as you can see, the spacing between these braces are quite far apart. They're about 2 feet apart, which then these boards have a little bit of a give to them. So I'd rather they didn't do this. So I have a bunch of extra angle iron from some crating we received here at the store. And I'm going to take and cut that angle iron into braces and pretty much just weld in extra bracing in between each of these angle iron cross pieces. There's a flat strap coming down, 2 flat straps coming down the middle, but those aren't doing a whole lot. They're not that thick. You can see they kind of flex too underfoot. So we're going to cut them up, put them in there, and then also the jack. I'm always having to put a block underneath. It barely reaches the truck. So I found this square tubing here. We're going to cut it into size and then weld that on there. Basically put a little extension on the foot of the jack. The rest of the jack works just fine. No need to replace it just for a larger one. So that's what we're doing tonight. Okay, now that we've gotten the jack figured out, let's see what we're going to do here in the rear end. These 2 saggy pieces don't look like they're really doing much, so I may end up just eliminating them. We will see. Otherwise, I'll take some of this angle and just start laying it in there in between and see if that gives us the support we're looking for. So, and 28.5 inches. Alright, with that cut to length, Take this in here like this. Couple light strips to hold it in place. So. Alright, wheel my welder out. Long enough cords here. Down there. There we go, first stick in. I think that's going to do what I want it to. We'll basically just repeat this going on up the trailer. That should give a lot more support to these boards as we move forward. Okay, so I welded this piece in, and as I was going for the next piece, I realized I was going to run into an issue. So, as you can see, they just ran this one flat strapping over the top here. But the reason they did that is these two pockets, that one and then this one here, have axles running in. And as this is a low profile trailer, this bar is going to sit right smack dab on top of that axle, which is fine now until you go over a bump or you load it with cattle. Then that axle has no travel. So I'm going to end up having to cut that out of there. I might see if I can find some other flat strapping to add in place of that. What I might actually end up doing is just taking the torch and notching out for the axle there. Just cut out that 1.5 inches to give it that travel back again. As long as it has enough flex. Yeah, that axle really can't travel up higher than that anyway, because it would hit on the end piece there. So yeah, gonna have to give that a little bit of a notch. I might do the same thing here, actually just take the torch, notch out for these axles. That way it can kind of nest in there the way it's supposed to, so that axle has the proper amount of travel. Alright, that is exactly what I did. I took, this one was in place, I took and notched that one out. These other two I notched beforehand and then welded them in. So now we've got that in place. This next one I'll have to measure more precisely since we don't have any overlap. Fit right in between there, those three, and then notch these three again, and that'll be an easy one, overlap both ways. And then a few in the front there to finish her up. Alright, we've got the supports notched for the front axle. We've got one of them clamped in there. We'll get that welded up And then we should be pretty clear sailing, at least up until we get into the V part of it. We'll see what we do there. Alright, here we are in the trailer. I've gotten almost all the straight boards in. They are cut at 71¼ inches and then slipped in. In the front, I'm working on the angled boards. I'm going to work back to the door here. And then I'm just going to add a couple self-tapping trailer deck screws to hold these down that have a loose edge on this side. Hopefully it'll work. Alright, so here we have the finished product. I was going to anchor the boards that had kind of there was no angle iron going over the top of the boards to hold them down in front of this door. So I was going to anchor them down to the metal, but decided it was more efficient just to put a little piece of 1x over the top of it there to hold all them together. I think it'll work.